a distraction from everything going on in my world. You were a
So it's come to my attention that I don't actually make my films very easy to understand with complicated titles
At first I thought it was about a girl with double vision, like literally double vision.
and complex plots
I realised that one thing you like to do with your film is that you like to leave everybody thinking.
and lots of Easter eggs. Haha, see what I did there? Easter eggs. I don't know why I bought this. I don't even like cream eggs. Wow, what a waste of money. So I thought to myself, I wonder if any of the Easter eggs or anything that you might have missed, my actual audience would have spotted. So I asked 5 of you to help me out with this video. And I just sent you one of my films and I asked you to watch it very intently and then let me know if you found anything that might have been hidden or might have significant meaning. And we're gonna look through all the answers that I got given and to see how many Easter eggs my audience spotted. And we're also gonna see some Easter eggs that you might have missed. So, let's do this. So the first film we're gonna do is my film Forgotten. Now if you haven't seen it, it's the first one on my channel. Now the person I gave this film to is Luke November. If you don't know who he is, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. He makes really great music and he also released an EP recently, so you should go check that out as well. So Luke man, you're actually the real G, alright? Because Luke sent me this really long voice message explaining how he was watching it so intensely and he was looking for different things in the film, and I really, really respect that. So one of the points that Luke said or put emphasis on was the clenching of the fist. Luke said that the fist clenching he thought represented something that the protagonist was holding on to and something that he wouldn't let go of, which is absolutely true. It's all about his struggle of letting go of the past, and the fist clenching is him holding on to something and not letting go of it. So well done Luke for getting that one. The next question that Luke had for me was if the shooting of the shoe was significant at all.
I think emotively it makes you feel so riveting.
It wasn't at all. The only reason why it was significant was just to match him being in the field and him being in the bathroom as the same person. That was the only reason why the shoe was filmed in that way. Again, another good point that Luke made was the hood always being up. The reason why this was such a good find is because not only did he reference the person who had his hood up throughout the entire video, but he also noticed the times where the protagonist also had his hood up. Luke said that by the end, taking his hood off was almost taking his mask off. He shouldn't keep hiding away or he can't have his hood on anymore. He just needs to accept the fact that he needs help and stop running away from his problems. I mean, Luke, you've smashed this. And what I loved was that everything that you spotted came with an explanation, and your explanations were so on point, bro. So congratulations. Now for some of the things that not only Luke, but you guys might have missed as well. So the reason why I chose to film in a field, and a very open field, was because I wanted to create this illusion that he was inside his own mind and that everything was empty but this one thought. And that's what shame or guilt can do to you. It's that one thing in your mind that keeps being there. And if you pursue it, like he did in this film, the thought gets bigger and bigger. All it does is start as that little thought, just as it started as that little tiny person behind it. One more thing that you might have missed was the string. Now the string isn't really an Easter egg because it was right there and it was right in front of you, but some people might have missed the significance of the string. The string represented the tie between himself and this other person or this alter ego. It was his way of releasing himself from that tie, or releasing himself from the strings that attached him to this other person. So yeah, that's Forgotten. Very well done, Luke. You spotted so many and you had perfect explanations for them. And let me know in the comments if you notice any other Easter eggs or hidden messages in that specific film or any of the films that we discussed today. But for now, we're gonna move on. So my mum had the task of doing the odd piece, which is the only one of my films that I'm actually featuring in. And if you wanna know why I voice it, then watch this video because it's all explained. So the first point that my mum pointed out was, is Joseph wearing black to try and be like the other pieces? Oh snap, that's something that I never thought about. Like, that is an incredible question. Joseph didn't represent anyone in particular. He represented society. He represented the system. He represented everything socially that the protagonist believed to be wrong and to be the reason why he was the odd piece. So that was a very interesting concept and something that I've never considered before, but that is what Joseph represents. Does he feel cut up and stamped on? Absolutely. That is 100% correct. It was the piece's way of saying that his shape to try and fit in with other individuals, but it never would have worked. And the stamping on was more like a double entendre. Is he stamping on him to try and change his shape more? Or is he stamping on him because that's how he feels? He feels trampled on. He feels he's being oppressed. Does it take place on the floor to signify how low he feels? Mum, have you considered going into like being like a film critic or someone who analyzes films? Because that's banging. I can't sit here and say
That's what I intended, duh.
he does feel incredibly low, and that point is still valid. Whether I intended to do it or not, that is still absolutely valid. So very well done, Mum. Some very amazing points, and these are some of the points that you might have missed. The film ended up with the piece in amongst multiple colors because the piece finally realized that he was the change and that he had to be the one to instigate change. And one more thing in the film, again, was the throwing of the piece. That is so significant because the throwing of the piece was also describing the piece's journey of just wanting to get away from everybody and then coming back in and then wanting to get away again. Isolating himself and then trying to come back in and fit in and then being like, nah, I'm done with this, I'm gone. So again, let me know in the comments if you notice anything in that film that I've missed out. But for now, let's go on to film number 3. Now, film número 3 was given to Imogen Grace. You see what I did there, Imogen? Because you like doing Spanish. And yeah. If you weren't aware, Imogen Grace also does YouTube, so I'll leave her link down in the description. Go and check her out, subscribe to her. Her content's getting better every single time I see it, so shout out to you, Imogen. Now, Double Vision is a film that was my first ever official Triple I Films film. So there were 3 main objects in Double Vision. They were pretty much the entire intro was just a montage of those 3 objects. And 2 of those objects, Imogen has pointed out as being significant, and she said, the Bible and the glass being filled. If I'm being honest, the Bible was the only thick book that I can find. And the significance of the book was to represent her being a closed book. But then at the end, when the character decided to open up, then the book opened. The glass being filled represented her emotion. When something is bubbling up so much inside of you, but you don't talk about it and you keep it in and you keep it in and you keep it in. We only have a certain capacity. We can't keep our emotions in forever. There's gonna come a time where we will overflow. And unfortunately, if it gets to that point, then people could be hurt, we could be hurt in the process. And that's why it's so important to not keep things bubbling up, just like it was in the film. The bedroom is supposed to be a safe place, but she seems distraught. Outside, we can put on this fake facade because we don't need to be ourselves. And then in our house, because it's such a safe environment, we can be free to feel how we really feel. Very well done, very well spotted. But now here are some of the things that you might have missed. A lamp is just as important as the book and the dripping water. And the reason why the lamp was important was every single time the lamp turned on, she was outside and she was having a good time and she was dancing to the music. I'm not gonna put the music in here because it wasn't copyright free. When the lamp turned off, she became this whole different person. Like, it's almost as if she switched out of herself into something else. One Easter egg was, didn't you find it weird that when she came into the house and she took her shoes off, there weren't any other shoes there? But then her dad came out of the other room. Surely his shoes should be there as well. You can be in a house with so many people but still feel so alone. It's such a small detail, but it makes such a difference. Let me know down in the comments if you caught anything else in that film that I haven't already mentioned. But for now, number 4, Endure for a Night. My dad had the task of doing this one, so shout out to you, Dad. So the first point that my dad pointed out was about the location. I felt like that location was perfect to objectify how he was feeling, because a forest has a sense of entrapment, but it also has a sense of being lost all at the same time. A mixture of reality, memory, and fantasy. Absolutely perfect. Could not have explained it any better. Sometimes in my other films, I haven't really distinguished what is real and what is fantasy. But because this was such a sensitive topic for me, I really wanted to make sure that people knew what was fantasy and what was reality. All the fantasy stuff was, number one, done in one location. Number two, it was quite obvious that it was a dream, because every single time he went to sleep or woke up, he was put in that dream state. What happened to Joseph? So this whole time, Joseph's character was chasing Zach, like all the way through the forest and in amongst his dreams, but that was just the guilt of what Zach's character had done to Joseph, actually chasing him. And then when he disappeared at the end, that was almost symbolic of Zach's character's guilt also disappearing. So Dad, really, really great points and really good questions that you pointed out, but here is some of the stuff that you might have missed. So in a lot of the scenes where Joseph's character is chasing Zach's character through the forest, as the dream gets more intense, the audio also gets louder. So not only does Joseph physically represent the guilt, but the guilt from the actual event is also following him. If you have any others that I might have missed, then please let me know down in the comments. But now, let's move on to the last one. Now, Mirror Mirror was the last film that I gave to one of you guys, and I gave it to a very good friend of mine, Victor. Shout out to you, Victor. I'm actually looking at this list, and the list is long. I'm really excited to go through this list and to see what you actually picked out. Whenever Victoria says, "I just wish," is when she goes into that trance and starts to see herself. I mean, yeah. If you're saying, oh, like I wish I was bigger or I wish I was more attractive, what you're really communicating is that you wish you were different and that you're not happy being yourself. And that's why I wanted to have those two words as to be like the reason for her downfall. There's like this split personality I see when that trans happens. The phrase being mentioned, trust in what you see, trust in me.
So this significantly depicts how the mirror sees her. And it shows how the mirror is oppressing her and causing her to be stuck in her own way.
I just did it because it sounded nice. The message that I'm getting from this is that self-esteem, also self-worth, is affected, but at the end was reminded by what God says she/we are, and basically how much we are worth. Exactly. The reason why I put all those Bible verses is because a lot of the time, when we're away from our Bible, we forget what God says about us. And then we get into a certain situation and it flips the script because we ain't had the real script in our hand. Oh my days, somebody! The picture of Victoria tearing in. Every single time, she either doubted herself or began to hate herself. She also lost a little piece of herself. 3 pieces throughout the film, then restored, so maybe representing triple I, as in the I, the 3 eyes. Victor, you coming for my job? I have no words. I was gonna say the whole, here are some things that you might have missed, but I don't even know if I want to do that anymore. Here are some of the things that you might have missed. The one Easter egg that I did put in Mirror Mirror wasn't actually in the film, but it was on the film poster. The barcode in this context can represent 2 different things. It can either be scanned to see the price or the value of something, or it indicates possession. Not only is it talking about sometimes self-worth is in the mask that we put on, but it also denotes that we're beginning to belong to our self-image, or we're beginning to be possessions of our self-image. So thank you very much for joining me and watching this video. I make my films complicated on purpose, okay? If someone doesn't understand my film, I actually take that as a compliment, because what that means is that you didn't get it the first time, but all you gotta do is watch it again. So if you haven't already, then please hit that subscribe button, because it really helps me expand this ministry, because I think that our films have such an important message, especially in the climate that we're in now, and I think that it would be so amazing if we could help this thing grow. So if you haven't already, then please hit that subscribe button. It would really, really mean a lot. So my socials will be in the link below, and also Triple I Films. Don't hesitate to contact us if you wanna be in a film, or you wanna write a film, or even if you wanna direct a film. We're always open to welcoming new people. We like to give people opportunities to shine, as well as getting such a beautiful message out. Also, Lay It All Down is coming this Monday, Easter Monday at 7:30, premiering on this very channel. Honestly, cannot wait for the film to come out. I've looked at the first draft of it, and it is really sick. Like, it's so intense, it plugs at your heartstrings, it's a real journey, and again, it's one of them films that you gotta really pay attention to. Thanks so much again for watching, and stay inspired.